What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tiny Tyler, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 4 mysteries from Stranger Things that they are questions, but there's so much to them that there's these 4 mysteries that I can't stop thinking about. I, if you're new here, because I have a very small channel. If you're new here, then if you look at my last few videos, I have made 3 or 4 Stranger Things videos as of late. And when I first started this channel, I was really just going to do it to make Pokemon content. Been obsessed with Pokemon for years. But then I had the idea of let me talk about superhero stuff, because I'm really into Marvel and the Arrowverse, the DC stuff that was on the CW network back in the late 2010s, early 2020s. And I just decided to catch up on Stranger Things. I watched the first 3 seasons when they first came out, and then I skipped season 4, and then I saw the commercials on Netflix, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this, and I've just been obsessed with it ever since. I mean, I watched season 5, I think, for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I just keep rewatching it because I don't know, I'm just so obsessed with it right now, and I'm rolling with it. And so today we're going to talk about the 4 mysteries that I just can't stop thinking about. I've seen a lot of content online about people who are just plot holes and stuff. This is not any of that kind of thing. I'm not here to poke holes in the Duffer Brothers plots, and there are a lot of things that I'm just like, how did Holly Wheeler age 4 years and 18 months? There's a lot of unanswered questions and plot holes in the writing itself. But I'm not here to talk about that stuff because I want to talk about just some of the mysteries that they left ambiguous intentionally, potentially. They left it ambiguous potentially on purpose. And I think when it comes to film and TV and entertainment at large, creative people do this on purpose. It allows us to kind of just sit here and have discourse and debate and explore our own imaginations through the world they created, and I think that's awesome. So that's what we're gonna do here. That's what we're gonna do here. So the first mystery that I have, and this one actually isn't as big a one, but it's one that I can't stop thinking about after the last watch through, and that is why does Vecna attach himself with the vines? And feel free, as I'm going through these, drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you interpret what I'm sharing here, or if you're just I didn't really think too much into that. It just kind of seemed pretty cut and dry. Let me know your thoughts down below. But the first mystery is why Vecna was attached to the vines in the Upside Down in season 4, when he's in the attic of his parents' house, and then in season 5 when he's in the lair, if you will, the bat cave for the Mind Flayer, when he's literally inside what becomes the Mind Flayer later. And maybe I should emphasize this, but I don't know. It's been out for a month now. Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen season 5 yet. I am so curious why Vecna needed the vines, why he needed to be attached via the vines in seasons 4 and 5. Okay, if it's a hive, just play with me here for a moment. If it's a hive mind and he can tap into the creatures, obviously he sends the creatures like the Demogorgons and the Demodogs to different places at different times. When he's not attached, why does he attach himself later? Does it amplify his powers? Does it make him stronger? It almost doesn't make sense to me that it would make him stronger because it's a hive mind and it's all interconnected. But at the same time, I think there's playing devil's advocate with myself here. I think there's a strong argument to be made that when he's connected, when he's literally plugged into the hive mind, it makes him stronger. And I think that's partially why he has the kids plugged in the spires within the Mind Flayer itself at the very end of season 5. So I don't know. I think it's a bit, it can go either way, but to me, it just doesn't, when I'm not playing devil's advocate with myself, it doesn't make that much sense why Vecna needs to be plugged in, unless it amplifies his powers, but I don't know, it just doesn't necessarily make that much sense because, all's Will had to do to connect to the hive mind was to bring one of the Demogorgons back to life, and then he literally controlled Vecna. you know. So just with how some of his powers are like, right, because Vecna's powers are already his. They're not the Mind Flayers. The Mind Flayer connects him to the Hive Mind, which connects him to the Demogorgons, the Bats, the Demodogs, and all those things. So I just don't see how it connects him. I don't see how it makes him stronger by being connected. But again, drop a comment down below. How do you interpret this? Let me know your thoughts. I'd be curious to know. This one, after rewatching it, like this one, I thought it was like, oh my god, I have like a crazy fan theory. But I don't know if that's actually the case anymore. Because the next one is like, what did Elle do to Max at the end of season 4, if anything at all, right? Because on one hand, there's a good chance that the way they display things, the way the show is produced and shown to us, that Elle couldn't reach her and didn't do anything to help Max at the end of season 4 when Vecna took her. But I mean, so Elle said no, like I'm not giving, like essentially I'm not giving up on you, and then she goes and she grabs her hand and she's like, I'm gonna basically save you. But then they show at the very end of season 4 that she doesn't find Max in her like mindscape, which could imply that like she failed. And then they later say, and then Mike later says that like Elle has never failed like this before. So I think there's a really strong argument to me that like Elle didn't actually do anything. She fucked up. She failed. Whatever. But I don't know. Like it almost with the 3 other victims of Vecna, like they never show them again. And you know this could just be like a business side of things, which is why they never show them. But because they never show them and they never even explain fully why Max is there. Like I mean, I guess they kind of do when they say that Max. She had her 3 options and then she chose to find a way out. And there was always Lucas playing the music that would bring her back to Kate Bush. But I'm almost, I don't know if this is just like the conspiracy theorist type of personality within me, but I'm almost convinced that Max was like in a way, she was either given a part of Elle's powers. So somehow, even though Elle couldn't reach her mentally, maybe she still like transferred some of her powers to her, which allowed her to stay alive in Vecna's mind. Or she was also siphoning Vecna's powers, not to the same extent as Will, but in the same kind of way. I think those are both a reach, but I just can't stop like exploring that because they're never. The way the show communicates this sequence of events where Max gets taken and Elle tries to save her, like go deeper into her mind and save her, it's never explicit. I feel like there's just too much left open to interpretation. Moving on to the next point, though. The next one is... This one actually can be answered pretty easily, but how do the Demogorgons get the children to the Abyss? And this is where it's going to start to branch off, because... into like deeper things, because again I think that's pretty easily explained, because when Holly falls out of the abyss, Vecna just pulls her right back up, right? So Vecna can pull them back up, or he's the one who like magic voodoos the kids up into the abyss, right? So I think that's a pretty easy thing to explain, but then my question becomes, when they show Henry first arriving in the abyss and fusing with the Mind Flayer, they show like a little baby Demogorgon or a baby Demodog. I can't remember exactly which one. Which, to me, implies that all those creatures, the Demogorgons, the Demodogs, the Bats, they were already in the abyss and they came with Henry into the Upside Down, right? And so then my question becomes, how do those creatures transport back and forth from the abyss to the Upside Down? And again, like these kind of questions, I think would need 6 more seasons to explain these things, and the Duffers would need 10 more episodes per season to really get into the mythology and the deeper lore behind the show. But it's just something like I want to explore in my own time. This is in no ways like a criticism on the show in any way, but it's like, how do those creatures get back and forth between the Upside Down, right? Because I mean, Vecna, can he psychically transport them every single time? I mean, I feel like that would, because again, like those like psychic powers he has, they're not the Mind Flayers, right? That's his power. The Mind Flayer just connects him to all those creatures. And then this kind of, that is like a cool segue into my last mystery, the last question with this shit rattling around in my brain, and that is like the gate between the abyss and the upside down, right? Because clearly there's some kind of gate between the gate between the abyss and the upside down, because when Holly escapes with Max, or when she escapes, she finds that hole in the ground and she crawls through it and she falls through the sky, right? Did that always exist too, or was that created when Elle opened the initial gate into the upside down, when she created the bridge? When she created that bridge, did she create a gate on the opposite side of that bridge as well, or was that something Henry maybe created on his own time? Because again, when they show Elle essentially defeating him in season 4 and sending him to another dimension, to the abyss, they don't show the upside down. They just show him landing on the abyss, and he even says, like, I became an explorer, right? I'm pretty sure those are his words. And so I don't know if that is signaling that there was already a gate to the abyss, from the abyss to the upside down, or maybe Henry had to create that, or maybe Elle created that when she created the gate from Earth to the upside down. So I don't know, that all kind of leaves me so curious about like what's happening up there, because okay, the upside down is like a mirror reflection of Earth, of Hawkins specifically, but does the abyss have the same thing? I'm inclined to say obviously not, because when Holly leaves the abyss, she falls right down. So there's no like mirror reality to the abyss on the other side of that gate. Which, if you haven't seen my last video, I kind of talk a little bit about the idea of the upside down being a bridge, and this is where I start to get like the nerd in me comes out and just like, yeah, but that's why the upside down doesn't make sense as a bridge, because like I think of the Bifrost and Thor, and like that's kind of what I would imagine to be a bridge between dimensions or worlds. Not that it has to be like this mystical looking thing, but it's just like it's a very clear bridge. You know what I mean? Not a mirror dimension. But anyway, those are just some of the mysteries that are rattling around in my brain. I'm just like, I keep exploring them, like what's going on here, and I can form opinions and whatnot, but I'd rather just put this out there in the world and see what kind of ideas you all come up with, and just kind of curious to hear, like, are there questions that are left unanswered that you just find yourself exploring a little bit more and whatnot. I mean, I personally, like, I love entertainment like this, TV shows, movies, whatever it is, where it's like science fiction-y, and it like really just kind of, I don't know, for me it really gets the creative juices flowing, and it causes me to think in different ways and see things in a different perspective. And then, I mean, I study a little bit of quantum physics, study a little bit of the spirituality, esoteric teachings, and it's like, you know, man, I could see this happen, and it's just like, it's cool to see it all come together. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you have any thoughts, opinions, interpretations of your own, drop a comment down below. Do the YouTube algorithm stuff. That's it. That's all. Peace out, y'all.